Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to another live stream. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to check the mic on my end and make sure it sounds good. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Thank you. Now I got to wait on this ad because I can't see the chat. Oh my goodness. Is my mic good, y'all? Push one in the chat if the mic sounds okay. Is my mic good, y'all? Okay, it sounds good on my end. Um, so yeah, and I can't be on here too long tonight because I have company coming over. But I wanted to come through and just talk about this really quickly. And first of all, I need y'all to recognize how active I've been this week. Now, I can't promise that I'll always be this active on YouTube, but I'm just saying, like, I've been pumping out the videos, okay? I made a promise to myself that I'm going to try to be more active on YouTube. And so here we are. And I do have some members patron content upcoming soon. I know I've been, leaving y'all hanging, but I do have some content for you guys as well coming soon. I feel like I'm finally caught up on everything like I wanted to talk about when I was out of town. So now it's like now I'm in like current news time. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But as most of you know, Charlie Kirk, who was a MAGA activist, an influencer, he was unalived yesterday at one of his events at I think it was a university in Utah. And y'all know I don't normally talk about politics and unalivings. It's just not my wheelhouse. Um, but when I saw that this video of his unaliving yesterday, and I watched it, I didn't mean to watch it because a lot of y'all send me stuff and I'll just, click on it, just, all just like, oh, well, let me see what this is. And I clicked on it and I didn't really know that it was the actual video. And I was like, oh my God. And like within 5 seconds, the whole thing happened. And that video is, ugh, it looks like it's out of a movie. It is pretty gruesome. Um, and then I saw some of the black people and black women who were talking about this on TikTok. And, I wasn't going to say anything, but as soon as I saw that, there were several HBCUs that had to lock down due to potential threats, terroristic threats. After this happened, I said, yeah, I need to say something because um as soon as I heard about this yesterday, I knew there would be some sort of attempted retaliation, specifically from MAGA and the far right. And so, that's why I wanted to come and remind black women to be careful. Make sure you're carrying some form of self defense when you're out in the real world. If you don't have a firearm, you can check out the self defense items on my Amazon storefront. The link is in the description box. But I just wanted to remind you, ladies, that we are still resting. Okay. And that means minding your business when things like this happen. And I'm seeing a lot of black people and a lot of black women, again, on TikTok talking about this. I've seen some people, just using it as a moment to condemn gun violence and calling for gun reform, which, I don't really have a problem with. Y'all know I'm pro 2A. I'm pro Second Amendment, but, I'm all for reform as well. But I've seen other black women showing their full faces, their full names on the internet, talking about how Charlie was a white supremacist and he deserved what he got. And I certainly don't believe in mourning anyone who was racist or, trying to turn Charlie into a martyr. But I do want to caution black women when it comes to just doing anything that even looks like you're remotely celebrating the unaliving of this man. Because you could be making yourself a bigger target than you already are. Okay. And I'm not saying that you can't have any complaints about racism or the current administration or, right wing activism or whatever. But some of y'all are moving like you aren't still depending on the current system for survival. You do know that you still need the system that you're living under, right? I'm just asking. Oh, wow. Shanna said, sadly, it's just not HBCUs, Chrissy. I go to a PWI in Florida and a full manifesto was sent to the administration about targeting black people. Yeah. So, it's getting real out here, y'all. And, you got to be careful when it comes to how you move. Over 300,000 black women have already lost their jobs in the last, what was it, 4 or 5 months? And most of those women have to get another job under the same system that y'all are complaining about. And so, I don't believe in y'all just getting up here all willy nilly talking crazy. I'm not saying that you should, walk around in fear and paranoia all the time. I certainly don't. But as far as like getting online and making yourself a bigger target than you already are, I don't think that's smart, ladies. I don't think that's smart. And some of y'all, you're moving like you have an alternative. Some of y'all are moving like you have all these black owned businesses to turn to for employment. You're moving like you have a black owned protection force to turn to, but you don't. Your men didn't provide you an alternative, ladies. I'm sorry, but they didn't. They can't protect you as a collective against the system. All they can do is get online and complain about it like you doing. So what they about to do? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, Toffee says, don't talk about politics at work. Coworkers aren't your friend. Yeah, if I had a corporate job, I wouldn't be talking about any of this stuff with my coworkers. They wouldn't know my political position on anything. I would be completely neutral. And I'm like that in real life anyway. I'm like that online too. Like, I told y'all I'm moderate. I'm not on the left or the right. I'm in the middle. So yeah, people are losing their jobs. And, it's not to say that, because I saw some black women saying how, we're starting our own businesses and stuff. Um, the black women who lost their jobs, but not every black woman can do that. Like, that's not an option for everybody. So, yeah, it's like you don't have an alternative. You don't have that. You don't have protection out here. Simply Bree says, my cousin was just unalived Monday in Chicago, and unfortunately, there are videos out there of her lifeless body, and her son has to see that one day. So I feel bad for his wife and children. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Bree. I'm sorry to hear that happened to your cousin. Yeah, these videos are, oof, man, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. But yeah, ladies, you have no protection. Okay. And I'm not talking about, the individual black men in your family that can protect you. Cause I know that's coming. A lot of people will be like, oh, well, my husband protects me. My brother protects me. As if all of us don't have some male in our family that is protective of us. I mean, we all have that, right? We all have black men in our family on an individual level, right? But I'm talking about your lack of protection on a systemic level. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're walking around alone by yourself without your boyfriend, without your husband, without your brother, and without your uncle. They can't be with you all the time. You get what I'm saying? And again, not saying that you should live in a constant state of fear or panic or paranoia. I'm not living like that, but you definitely need to arm yourself. You need to protect yourself. You need to have some sort of self-defense item on you. And you need to try not to make yourself a target at all. Don't get online with your face showing, making yourself a target for some crazy MAGA supporters. Learn to choose your battles and learn when to sit things out. Personally, I think the best course of action for black women in regards to this situation with Charlie Kirk is to just sit it out on social media. Sit it out. Protect yourselves wherever you are in the world. Stay away from highly populated areas if you can. I feel for all the college students because it's like that's going to be hard to do for y'all. But, I don't know. If I was still in school, I would look into taking online classes or something. It's just too risky out here. And I feel for y'all with children too, because there was a school shooting yesterday. Where was that? Where was the school shooting at? I forget what state it was in, but that happened yesterday too. And these kids ain't been in school nothing for what, like a month or something like that, and it's already a shooting at the school. It's getting really bad out here. Yeah, Colorado. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad, and so I just don't think you guys should make yourselves a bigger target than you already are. Um, and I just have to say this, but I know the girl said that, PWIs are being targeted as well. But if you are in an area where there's a lot of black people, you might want to be careful, because I feel like those kind of places are going to be targeted the most. I wouldn't be going to no political rallies, any protests, anything like that with a large group of people, and especially black people. And again, I'm not saying you can't be targeted in a white or a non-black environment as a black person. That can happen too, which is why I say keep a self-defense item of some sort on you. But I especially wouldn't be congregating around a bunch of niggas right now, because I'm just going to keep it real with you. The ghetto white people, and we talked about the ghetto whites on this channel before. We've talked about the ghetto whites, y'all. Some of them who are a part of MAGA, they're really irate, they're angry, okay, and they would likely target those areas the most to retaliate, is what I'm saying. You know how that white boy went in that grocery store in the black neighborhood and shot everybody up? I'm talking about some shit like that. Yeah, black. That's a good point too. Haley says black churches should do online services. Yeah, and I don't know about y'all, but I would even be strapped up going to church. Okay. Mm-mm. And yes, for anyone wondering, I'm still pro 2A, because firearms aren't going anywhere. Okay, they are not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm all for reform, but being that firearms aren't going anywhere, you should have one. Okay, you should have one to protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, a lot of them are going to be in those predominantly black areas. And I already saw some of the hoteps trying to like somehow tie swirlers into this, or black women who date white men into this. But most of us are not dating crazy, racist, MAGA white men, y'all. And if you want to keep it real, like I said, those of us who don't congregate in predominantly black spaces, we're probably the safest right now. But the pro blacks online, they don't want to talk about that. But as a black woman, you are likely statistically safer in more of a mixed race or multicultural environment than a predominantly black or white environment. I'm just keeping it real. So, just keep that in mind. And I already told y'all, HBCUs in general, they aren't the best option, in my opinion, for college age black women, because, the rampant misogynoir and the colorism in those spaces. So, this is another reason you can add to the list. They're going to be targeting places like that the most. Yeah, of course, they're going to try to tie Nicolandria and the swirlers. We ain't got nothing to do with this. We ain't dating. Most of us are not dating MAGA supporters. So, or MAGA men. We're not, we not dipping in that pond. At least I'm not. I don't know about all these other girls. But, most of us aren't dating like the extremists. We're not dating men like that. But, I saw the video of the unaliving. It looked like it was out of a movie, y'all. This man was literally in the middle of answering a question about mass shootings, and his last words were gang violence. Literally, those were his last words. And right after that, he was popped. He was popped right after that. That shit was spooky as hell because of the timing. It was so spooky. And I saw some black people, some of the hotep saying it was the ancestors. I don't know about all that. But I just think that when you're a highly publicized, um, polarizing political figure like Charlie was, you unfortunately you have to be willing to die for your beliefs. And maybe he was. You can't do and say the things that he was saying and not think that something like this would happen. And I don't know why I mean, I don't even know. I think he did have security. I think security was there, right? And the sniper was on the roof. So I don't even know if it could have been prevented, to be honest with you. I don't know. But it's like, now I will say this: should people get unalived for their controversial opinions? No. But this is America. Okay, it's always a possibility. And that's exactly why I'm warning black women to stay off these online platforms, shitting on this man with your face and your name showing. It's just not smart. It's like, I know y'all looking at Charlie like, oh, this happened to him because he was, a controversial political figure. But what do you think you're doing when you get online on TikTok and you're showing your face and you're saying all these controversial political opinions? Like, do y'all think it can't happen to you? You think it can't happen to you just because thousands of people don't know who you are? And so that's kind of the whole point. Like, you could be a Charlie. You get what I'm saying? So y'all need to be careful of showing your face, just saying whatever you want to say and defending all of these faceless people that you don't know. I mean, they could find where you are. Anything could happen. Yeah, I mean, I even have to be careful about stuff like that. And it makes you like, when stuff like this happens, it makes you wonder. It's like, dang, am I willing to die for my beliefs? Because you kind of have to be willing to die for it. You get what I'm saying? Because there are people out there who are crazy. There are people out there listening to me who might want me dead. You just never know. And so, personally, I just think that black women, you be careful. Be careful. And I know somebody's gonna take this like, oh, you're telling black women to just take it up the ass with a smile. You're telling black women to run away in fear. No, I'm telling you to be smart. That's what I'm telling you to do. There are other ways you can fight against racism. There are other ways, you can take a stance against all of this. There are other ways you can do it. And, dying on this hill, Charlie Kirk, come on now. This is not a good reason to get online and make yourself a target. He's not worth all that, in my opinion. Yeah, peace, lovely. It is common sense advice, but clearly, it ain't so common for some of the girls because they're all over the line, all over, the internet, putting themselves at risk. Dominique says, yeah, the people I watch politically are shaken about this because they have many people that hate them. Yeah, it makes you think about that kind of stuff. When you are even as a faceless content creator, it makes you think about that kind of stuff. There are people out here who literally hate my guts. There are people who hate you just for your opinion. And another thing is, like, this can happen to anybody. Your opinion doesn't have to be wrong. Your opinion can be right. You can be one of the most moral people in the world. Your opinion can be 100% correct. And this can still happen to you because one person, one crazy person doesn't agree with you. It's wild. Yeah, some people are saying it's an inside job. Other people are saying that it was a disgruntled MAGA supporter. I don't know. And if it was one of his own supporters, if it was a Trumper, if it was another right winger, I think that says a lot. You know, and it could have been. I think it was the suspect is like some young white boy, and you have to think about it. Some of these right wingers particularly the poor white people, a lot of them are upset because they didn't think that they nor their family members will be affected by everything this administration has put in place, right? And I talked about this a long time ago when, Trump was reelected. But, those people have been affected. And so they're going to start turning on their own. Because think about it, a lot of them are already violent. And then when you add in the fact that now they have little or nothing to live for, yeah, they're going to go rogue. They're going to go rogue. They're going to start turning on each other. They're going to start retaliating against random black people because they're mad. And it's, really it's their own fault. So personally, with all that going on, I just think that black women should stay out of it as much as possible. Now, if they unwillingly put us in it, that's one thing. But I don't think it's smart to intentionally add fuel to the fire, especially if you're online with your real name and your face showing. That's all I'm saying. Simply Bree says we have to keep our true political opinions in home and not attach our face to it. How many times have we been called bigoted slash hateful for having views? Um, for having views, it's a difference between views is a difference between women and trans women. Yeah, I mean, even something like that, something it's gonna get you hate and it's gonna get you attacked and it's gonna get you harassed. So I'm just saying, protect yourself as much as possible. No, I don't think that it was a black people. It was a black person. Yeah, it looked like a professional hit. It did. It did. I'll say that it did because I was just like, okay. And I'm like, somebody had to see him up there on the roof. Like, I don't know, girl. I mean, even if it was an inside job, it was his own people. So it was still his own, child. I mean, this really ain't have nothing to do with black people, but they gonna take it out on black people though. They gonna take it out on us. So yeah, it was only one shot, and it was a very lucky shot or unlucky shot, I guess you could say, because oh my god. That made my stomach hurt. That video literally made my stomach hurt. If you are sensitive to stuff like that, like looking at people getting unalived on camera, which I am extremely sensitive to stuff like that, which is why I don't do a lot of topics, those kind of topics. Um, but if you are sensitive to stuff, don't watch it. Don't watch it. I'm encouraging you not to watch it because it was bad, and I couldn't like unsee it. I couldn't, because I was looking through my emails and I just happened to see, and it didn't have any warning. It didn't say graphic. You know how it says graphic content, warning, graphic content or whatever. It didn't say that at all. And so I'm just like, oh, let me check my emails. And I click on it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. If I would have known what that was, I wouldn't have watched it. And then there were people online saying, oh, this is AI. And sometimes these conspiracy theorists get on my fucking nerves because it's multiple shots of the same video, like different people there taking videos at the same event. It's how can it be AI? Like, come on. There is nothing AI about that. Like, yeah, there were. I saw videos on TikTok that were like, "Oh, this is AI, and it's just so sad that they're lying to us. The government is lying." I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, there's no way that could be AI. Yeah, just a girl says it looked highly trained. It wasn't amateur. It wasn't an amateur. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the blood just start just splatting out of his neck and he just fell over. I was like, oh my fucking god. Like, listen, when y'all send me stuff like that, you have to warn me, okay? You can't just be sending me stuff like that all willy-nilly. I will throw up. This should look like a movie. And I'm surprised they haven't taken it off. I don't know. Maybe they did take it off of X already because, like I said, I got the videos yesterday. So, I don't know. Lala says Candace Owens needs to tread lightly as well on this topic. Well, she's probably aren't they cool with each other? Weren't they cool with each other? I don't know. They might leave Candace alone, but I don't know. You never know. You never know. Candace, the way she move out here too is I'll be like, girl, you a little too careless for me. The way she be moving, like I don't know. Y'all ain't paranoid enough for me. Y'all are not paranoid enough for me. Cause I wouldn't be moving out here like that. Yeah, I was. I'm sure. I knew they were cool. Oh wow, they said Candace just cried in her podcast. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Candace, she's getting sued by some president in another country. Like she just be doing too much for me. I just don't understand her at all. It's like she's a professional troll. Like eventually, that's just gonna catch up to her. Yeah, and see, I don't. Oh wow, Lexiana says people on Twitter were saying Candace is next. Oh my god. I hope nothing happens to her. I think she do be moving stupid, but I don't want anything to happen to her. That's just that's crazy. But yeah, ladies, arm yourselves. If you don't have a firearm, definitely look into getting some self-defense items. You can find my suggested items in my Amazon storefront. The link is in the description box. And if you're interested in getting a firearm, check out the firearm laws in your state. Also, just look for any firearm training classes for women in your state. I took my mom to one a couple years ago here in my state, so she could learn how to better shoot a gun. So I definitely think, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the price of firearms and ammunition is probably going to go up if it already hasn't. So if you're looking, and I would get a firearm as soon as possible if you don't have one. That's my suggestion. And stay offline giving your political controversial opinions if your face and your name is going to be out there. Oh yeah, I stay strapped too, baby. If I go on a walk, my afternoon walks, I'm strapped on my walks. Okay, 9 millimeter in the holster, and my holster's pink. It's very pretty and pink. I'm a very girly firearm owner and pro 2A person. Okay, I don't play them games. Okay, and I have more than one. That's why I said run up if you want to. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Run up if you want to. I'm not the one. Y'all will see Chrissy on the news, okay? Y'all will see me on the news. I hope that never happens. But listen. Yeah, look, and if you don't have a firearm, carry some pepper spray, something. Something. Carry some type of self-defense item. Yeah, I don't and y'all know I live in a red state too, so it's a lot of pro 2A people here too. We don't play them games, okay? We don't play them games. And I'm one of those people. I'm not a very paranoid person, but I keep my head on the swivel. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of surrounding areas. Like if I'm going to a store, I make sure that I know all the security guards there. Like the surrounding stores that I go to frequently, I know almost everyone in there. I know all the security officers by name. Like they know me by name. I walk in that mug, they be like, "Hi, my name is Christina." So they be like, "Hi, Christina, how are you?" Yeah, everybody knows me. So I got people who will have my back if something goes down. Listen, I'm all about being girly, feminine, ladylike, and cutesy and demure, but it can pop off if it need to pop off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So Luna, the HBCUs had to go on lockdown earlier because they were getting terrorist threats due to Charlie Kirk being unalived at his event. They're taking it out on black people. Since they lost one of their own, they're gonna try to come after us. That's just the way it goes. That's how white supremacists are. So, and see, this is why I wanted to go live because like when I saw the announcement that the HBCUs were going on lockdown, there was a lot of black women in the comments and they were like, "Oh, well what do we have to do with it and why are they coming after us?" It's like, but when I saw this yesterday, I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be the HBCUs that they were going to target, but I knew that they were going to target black people in some capacity. And so it's like black women, that's what y'all should be ready for. And this is why you shouldn't be online showing your face talking crazy because this is the type of stuff that happens. This is what they do, y'all. Yeah, there's no HBCU in Utah. I mean, Utah's white. It's white, white. It's a majority white population, if I'm not mistaken. Uh huh. Yeah. Beulah says Chrissy been saying this for years, right? And so like, what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is like when stuff like this happens, you should immediately think like that. You should immediately think, oh wait, they probably out here acting crazy, so let me strap up. That's what I was thinking yesterday. I was like, uh-oh. Well, now that means I can't be caught slacking. That means I can't leave my piece at home because sometimes I do. Like when I go on my afternoon walks, I'll leave it at home. Nope. I'm not leaving that thing home ever again, especially not right now. It's going with me everywhere. And her name is Petunia. That's her name. I have all of my guns have names, but my favorite one, her name is Petunia. She's pretty, but she's deadly. Girl, we listen. They're always going to involve us some kind of way. That's the point here, y'all. That's the point. So I have 3 guns total. I think I'm gonna get another one. I swear, every time something like this happens, I think about. I'm like, I think I need another gun every single time. And I have pocket knives. I have pepper spray. I have everything. I have all the self defense items. I have the little keychain with the spikes on it. I don't even think they sell those. They might still sell those. I haven't seen them lately though, because I think in some states they were banned, and that's why I said you have to look at the laws in your state too. So make sure you look at the self defense laws in your state and what you can and can't carry. Um, but yeah, I have everything. I have one of those little buzzer things. Like if somebody try to run up on me, I can pull it out and it can sound the alarm. It makes a real screechingly loud alarm sound. They have those on Amazon. And they have some cute ones too. They're pink. Like you would never think that that's what it is, but yeah. Yeah, tasers. Yeah, there's so many different things you can have. It doesn't have to be a firearm, y'all. I know some of y'all are scared of guns, but y'all, I think y'all need to get over that. Yeah, it's getting scary out here. It's been scary. Um, but to see something like that, I just feel like they're gonna definitely try to retaliate. And even if it's not anytime soon, they'll wait. They'll wait months from now, and then all of a sudden it'll be somebody popping up at a grocery store, some crazy white boy, some crazy MAGA white boy shooting everybody in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So even if it doesn't happen now, like it could happen months from now. So that's what I'm saying. Always keep your guard up. Keep, protection on yourself. That's all I'm saying. You need to have at least a 9 millimeter, you guys. You need to have a gun that can kill. Not a small gun. You need at least a 9 millimeter. Yeah, so um that's all I want to say. If you want some self-defense items that are not firearms, if you can't get one right now, look on my Amazon storefront. You can find some on there. If I find any more, I'll add them and I'll put them on there. But yeah. Y'all need to stop playing these games. Stop getting online talking crazy. That's all I'm saying. And nobody is defending Charlie Kirk and who he was. Nobody is saying that he was the greatest person ever. Like, I really don't care about that man like that. Okay. This really doesn't have much to do with him. I'm just telling you, like, it's not smart to get up there and be dragging him with your face and your name showing. It's just not smart to do that right now. Unless you're ready to die. Like, you need to be on that shit. Like, anytime you get online and you start recording yourself and you're saying anything controversial, especially when it comes to politics, you need to always have in the back of your mind, like, oh, this could get me killed. Like, and I know that sounds extreme, right? But that's how you need to be thinking. Like, you need to be thinking like, before I say this, am I willing to die for this? Like, is this something that I'm willing to lose my life over? That's what you need to think about. And so that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to scare you guys. The next live stream, I want it to be light and fluffy. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some, other stuff, some more fun topics. This live is pretty heavy, but I just had to come on here and say this. I had to issue this warning because y'all a little too careless for me. Y'all ain't scared enough for me. Y'all not paranoid enough for me. I'm just saying. So that's it. I got to get ready for my company to come over. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't know what I'm going to talk about in the next live stream. I don't know if it's going to be the VMA Awards. I'm still not finished watching them. I don't know if I'm going to do a live on that. I'll be honest with you. But either way, maybe it'll be a Chrissy After Dark. It'll be something lighthearted and fun. Okay? So, thank you guys for joining me. If you're watching the replay, let me know what you think about this topic in the comments. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye.